So, what do we want to talk about today?
Orange is the New Black. Everyone's talking about it.
Okay, by the way, major spoilers. So if you don't want to hear about it, please fast forward or skip until you can't see the spoiler sign anymore. Okay, got it? No more spoiler sign? Skip. Okay, It's basically a fish out of water story about her experiences in prison, and it's based on an actual book by Piper Kerman, who actually did go to prison. Now we get to season 2, which Netflix released all at once. Thank you, the god that is Netflix.
Binge watching.
So yes, we definitely did some
Binge
little
watching,
bit of binge
yeah.
watching. Let's talk about the evolution of the side characters, because I think that's what I found the most fascinating in season 2. Poussey. Okay, so Poussey, as we remember from first season, is part of the comic relief. She's always very easygoing, relatively nice, and her best friend Tasty is always, it's sort of like a package deal with them wherever they go. You know, you see one, you see the other. And this season, Poussey's backstory gets revealed to us, and it's extremely touching.
She was obviously a lesbian, and she was moving around a lot, and it turns out she had fallen in love with the general's daughter.
Her dad's boss's daughter.
So he has them leave Germany to go back to the US, but
We get from the dialogue that she expected this time to be a permanent move, and so that's why she established roots by making friends and getting into a relationship with this girl, and she's obviously fallen for her. And there's a heartbreaking scene where the girl comes in to confront Poussey about leaving, and she's pretty much telling her that, you know, it was all a lie, and she wants her to leave, but that's only because she wants to lessen the pain, I guess, for this girl. But then, later on,
she pretty much comes up to the dad, starts pretty much confessing her love for the girl, and I mean, she almost shoots him, but her dad shows up, and that was a really touching part, in my opinion. Her dad actually accepts that part of her.
And I think it's actually very powerful when you look at it in a way that, like, you know, the way that American media portrays masculinity, especially black male masculinity, is very, like, stereotypical. So, you know, then you have this man.
Usually in media you see, like, soldier dads being very hard on their children, regardless of gender or sex. So the fact that it hasn't hardened him towards his daughter is really touching.
They never really discussed the gay issue.
Right.
So, but that's the way, from personal experience, that's how parents and their children sort of communicate.
Especially at that young of an age.
Right.
I think even without being gay, sexual orientation doesn't really matter.
Young sexuality in general doesn't really get discussed as openly as we would like. And so I think that was realistic. It was very obvious that he accepted her and he loved her. And, you know, and he managed to calm her down from doing something very stupid, but also understanding that, you know, she was driven to it by these very homophobic, extreme external forces. So he talked her out of it instead of just snapping at her or reacting violently. And I think that was amazing.
Right. In the first season, Tasty left and then came back. That she developed feelings for Tasty, but Tasty doesn't really feel that way towards her. She loves her, but not in a romantic sense. Before, they were just the best friends that were comic relief.
In present day, the episode is taking place on Valentine's Day. So Piper is in some crazy shenanigans because she's Piper. You know, she's interviewing people what their idea of love is, and that's when Poussey, I think, stole a lot of people's hearts with her definition of love. And I don't want to paraphrase it, you know, you have to watch it because Samira Wiley does such a good job at sort of, like, you can see her emotional shift from this Poussey being sort of a jokester.
Like, yeah, you know, this is what it is all about, to shifting, like,
very serious.
Very serious, as in, she becomes vulnerable. Just in, like, matter of seconds. She just becomes vulnerable and throws it all out there.
Right.
So
within that little speech, you can see the shift of emotion, and so, you know, you have to watch that scene.
They flesh her out a lot in this season, and she just becomes a way more honorable character. I mean,
we'll discuss V later.
Yeah.
V is very intelligent, so
yeah, she's very intelligent and she was very.
she managed to yank people around a lot. But Poussey did some pretty amazing things and stood her ground, and so we'll discuss that
Which
in
really
conjunction
sucked.
with V.
Yeah.
In conjunction with some of the shit that V pulled.